Welcome back to Teachability. We are going to continue with our clay project. The previous video uploaded was part 1, the planning stages of our project. Now we're going to move on to the more fun part of it. We're actually going to use the clay, work with it, get our hands messy and make our masks. We are using the Jovi air drying white clay. It is so simple to use. It dries once you are done with it. You leave it aside and it'll get dry. Air drying clay means once it's exposed to the air out of its packaging, it's going to start hardening. And we want to use this clay as soon as we open the packaging. So don't break the seal until you are ready to use the entire clay to do your artwork. You can use the scissors to open your packaging. Take your clay into your hands and get a feel for it. Twist it around, break it apart, mush it back together, squeeze it, soften it up a bit. It's been in a packaging for a long time and it needs to be worked a little. The entire clay is a bit too big for me to use, so I took a slightly smaller piece. It leaves a white residue on your hands, so make sure you're working on a surface and your surface is covered with some paper just to protect the furniture. Now I'm going to use the balls of my hand and just press out the clay to flatten it up a bit. Turn your clay around. You'll see that the clay has flattened out because you've been pressing it on a flat surface. So you can do the same on the other side. Also, keep an eye out for cracks and tears in your clay. You can use your finger and just press the two pieces together and spread it out, and you'll see the clay is so soft that it'll just combine back together again. Okay, I found a cylindrical bottle that I could use as a roller. You can do the same as well. So I'm just going to press and roll this out to get an even spread of my clay. I turned my clay work around so I can get it into the view, and it's starting to take shape of the mask that I had designed in the previous video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my design just to ensure that I'm on track, and there it is. As you can see, that is the angle in which I'm going to do my design. I'm going to use this toothpick to draw out the shape of my mask and the detail onto my clay. I'm going to start out with the outer, and then I'm going to work in with some guidelines. Okay, now I'm done with my details on my mask. I'm going to go ahead, use my toothpick to press and, I don't want to say dig out, but basically I'm following the outline quite deeply into the clay and I'm picking out the pieces. As you can see, the clay is pretty thick, so you need to press your toothpick in and follow your lines, and the clay will come out perfectly. Okay, now that I'm done, I'm going to take my mask and cut out the edges to smooth out my sides. I'm going to just use a scissors and I'm going to cut it. As you can see, it's very delicate, so be gentle with it as you're moving it around. You don't want to break any of the areas. As you can see, some of my holes that I cut out goes right close to the edge, and I want to avoid any unnecessary tears. That's going to make it difficult for me. So cut it out and then move all your extra scraps away, and then just very gently place it back down. You can use your finger to lightly just brush out all the excess clay that came off when you were cutting through the clay. You can use your toothpick, the sides of your toothpick, to just smooth down and pat down any of the rough lines. You can use your finger as well on the flat surfaces. If you want to get into the corners, the toothpick is perfect for that. You can also take a little bit of water to smooth out any of the rough lines that have been created when you did your design. So you just take a little bit of water on your fingertip, not too much, and then just brush it over and smear it over your lines. As you can see, the lines are fading a little bit. They're still there, I can still see it, but it's just smoothing it out without any rough lines, making my work look a little bit neater. Now that I'm done, I'm looking at my mask and it feels really two-dimensional, so I'm going to take a piece of clay, make a triangular shape for my nose, and I'm going to attach it on. But first I need to get the shapes right, to get the nostrils in there, and I'm going to use a toothpick and I'm going to smooth it down so the two pieces become one piece. I'm just smoothing and blending out the edges using a slight hatching technique. I'm sure you recognize the word hatching from visual arts. So I'm just going to get the shape in there. I'm just setting out the nostril, and I'm going to be blending in the sides to make the two pieces one. Water will also help blend and smooth it out. You can shape the nose however you'd like to make it look good. Generally, masks have a slight curve, the way a face would curve, so I'm going to very gently try and get a curve. I'm going to use a bottle or something cylindrical to help fix the curve. You can leave it for a few hours to dry and it'll be done.